Welcome to Angelo's Tennis, and this is a little system that I developed that, in my opinion, is one of the simplest ways to explain levels in tennis, because levels in tennis is just over complicated. And there's a lot more that can be said about that, but for now, let's take a look at the system. And I encourage you to subscribe if you're new here, if you've been watching. I really appreciate it, and lots of good stuff to come. So let's check this out here. Level 1. We have level 1, level 2, and level 3. And starting with level 1, we have the red ball and the 36-foot court or mini tennis. And technically speaking, there's a level before level 1. And you could imagine we're talking about ages, say, 3 to 6 years old, or even someone who's older than that is really starting at the base fundamental abilities of coordination and movement. So if this is too difficult, we could go below that. But just to simplify things, let's say the red ball 36-foot court is level 1. And we can see here I have an arrow going the whole way across, and this is what across the board, across all these levels, is going to consist of this. It's going to consist of rallying, throwing, sparring, games, points, matches, and tournaments. So if we start here on the red with the red ball and the red court, you might ask, well, what are we going to do? Generally speaking, what are we going to do on the red court playing with tennis? Well, we're going to rally. We're going to throw. We're going to learn how to throw. We're going to spar, which could be really talking about competitive rallying, hitting back and forth, trying to win the point. Games, especially with the red court, they're going to be fun games, different ways, different formats, playing points. You don't have to play matches at this level. You could just play points to win. You don't have to keep score, but just trying to win points. There could be just kids ways of playing matches, different formats, etc. You can find those pretty much anywhere. You can make them up yourself. You could also do kids level tournaments at this stage, but really you can skip at level 1. You can skip all of this, and that's why I have it red here. You could just do rallying and you'd be fine. So you might ask yourself, what kind of instruction do I need at this stage? Honestly, you don't need any instruction. If you just do the things that are here, you will be successful. And let's say you're at level 1 and you can't play. The whole point of the red ball and the 36-foot court is that you should be able to play right away no matter who you are. And like I said, if you're 3 years old, you might not be able to do this. So, or even if it's not just 3-year-olds, you might be an adult or an older player, a teenager, adolescent, etc., and not be able to do this. And that's when you're going to go down and make it even more basic, which we'll get into maybe in another video. But that's the whole point of this, is that you don't need instruction. You should be able to rally immediately. So let's move on to level 2. Level 2, you're going to change the ball to orange, to the orange ball, and the 60-foot court. And you're going to do the same thing, rallying. Throwing is going to become more important at level 2 because the court's getting bigger. Sparring, games, points, matches, and tournaments. You can do all of that here. And here's the thing. If you find yourself not being able to rally or play games, points, and matches at level 2, you've moved up too fast. You could say this is loosely 1 year of playing. If you find yourself starting at level 1, this is probably 1 year, 1 to 2 years of playing, 1 to 2 years of playing, 1 to 2 years of playing, etc., all the way up the line. But if you find yourself at any one of these levels and you can't rally, spar, play games, points, chances are you could have a bad partner, but chances are you're moving up too fast. And this is where you might find yourself saying, well, I need instruction. You don't need instruction at this point. I mean, you could have instruction if that's what you prefer, but I'm just showing you how you don't need instruction. You need to go back to level 1 and stay there until your brain learns and it catches and it changes. Your brain will change. That's what coordination is. It's a brain function. Your brain will change over time. So you're here at level 2, same thing, rallying, throwing, sparring, etc., etc. You can do all that, have fun, enjoy your 1 to 2 years at level 2. This is like a 9-year-old. If we're looking at ages, an 8 or 9-year-old, 10-year-old, enjoy 4th grade. There's no rush. There's no rush to go from 4th to 5th grade. These terms are all relative. They're all made up. These numbers. Level 3. Green ball. Now we're going to be full court. Same thing. Rallying, throwing, sparring. Sparring, that's why I made it green, is going to become more important here. This is when competition becomes more important at level 3. This level 1 and 2, you can still be competitive. You can still have you can even have serious competitions. But level 3 is when you're in your 3rd year of tennis, 3rd to 4th year of tennis. You're 10 to 12 years old. Now competition is going to become, so you can't go wrong. If you've been playing tennis for level 1 stage, level 2, like seriously playing tennis, just playing, and you get to level 3, you will be successful in competition. You will feel, at the very least, you will feel competent. You will feel strong and confident. And then we move to level 4. And level 4, you should have already went through this. Most people should have went through this. A lot of people try to skip and go to level 4. And this is big here. If you go to level 4 and you skip 1, 2, and 3, and let's say you don't do any of the levels, you don't do any red ball, you don't do any orange ball, nothing in the green, etc., you will need a tennis pro. This is the tennis pro stage right here. If you skip those, you will need a tennis pro. You will have to fix things. You will at least feel like you have to fix things. You will feel that you're not confident. You will feel that there's something wrong with your forehand, your backhand, etc. This is essential. This is why this exists. This is why the tennis pro exists, because people skip level 1, 2, and 3. And then you could say because they can't find a partner, things like that. So if you love your tennis pro and you love the tennis pro model, then skip level 1, 2, and 3. So same thing, level 4. This is where you see like high school players trying to skip level 1, 2, and 3 all the time. High school players, they just join the team and they skip these levels because they have to play yellow ball. And same thing, rallying. You're gonna rally. Well, ask the question: what am I gonna do at this stage? You're gonna rally from different positions. You're gonna throw. You might be done with the throwing. Honestly, you might be done with the throwing and the serving, and you might feel strong with your serve, and you don't really need to throw anymore. I would encourage you still to occasionally play some throwing games, play some football, etc. Sparring. You're going to continue to spar. Games, points, matches, and tournaments. And again, you don't have to play tournaments. You don't have to play matches. You can just play points. But you do need, at this stage, in order to get competitive, to be better competitively, you do have to play points. You cannot get better. You cannot get better just by rallying and sparring and learning with your tennis pro, if that's what you prefer. So just want to reiterate that. It's very important. Then we move to level 5. Now, level 5, again, if this is too hard for you, again, I want to reiterate this as well. If any of this is too hard for you, you don't feel confident, you probably skipped a level where you're playing someone who's at a level above you. If you're green ball, you're playing yellow ball and you're not doing well, you're playing someone who's at level 4, level 5, or level 6, obviously. Now, level 5, you've played we're talking about 4 to 5 years. My opinion, you cannot get to level 5 without playing for 4 to 5 years. Or 3 to 4 years. It's not possible. So enjoy it. I keep saying, enjoy your 3 to 4 years. And, an athletic, let me just say this, a really athletic person who has sport experience, like me, I started at 12, 13, 14 years old, okay? I started with yellow ball. I did not use these balls. However, I had extensive experience playing ball sports. That's why I could jump to level 4. So if you, let's say you played basketball for 3 years or 4 years, or soccer, you played basketball, soccer, baseball, football, from age 8 to 12, you might be able to jump to level 4 immediately, because that's what this is. This is a smaller form of ball sports. That's all it is. So I want to say that if you have ball sport experience, you can jump to level 4. That's another easy question you can ask yourself. Do I have experience playing sports? And if the answer is no, then you're not starting at level 4. And if you're starting at level 4, again, you're going to need your tennis pro. And that's going to cost you. And you're probably going to, in my opinion, not look as good. You're not going to be as confident, etc., etc. So here we have level 5, 4 years. What are you going to do at level 5? This is your 4, and this is your 4.5, and this is your 4.0 with the USTA ratings here in the United States, 4.0, 4.5. You also could throw UTR in here if you wanted. But here we are at 4.5, your basic college player. And what are you going to do at level 5? Well, you're going to play 0 to 20 matches. That's your training. 20 competitive matches a year, per year. You could do more than that and still be at level 5. These are just general numbers. Level 6. Say you want to get to level 6. First thing you're going to do, 20 to 40 matches. This is the first thing you're going to do. If you haven't done this, you're never going to be level 5. Don't even bother trying to be level 5 if you're not playing 20 matches a year. Level 6, 40 matches a year. If you want to get better, and you want to be at level 6, a 5.0, or a 10 UTR, if you don't play 40 matches a year, forget about it. It's not happening. You're lying to yourself. Level 7, 40 plus matches a year. You want to get to level 7, ITF, ATP. This is the ITF level, Futures, Challengers, Pro. If you're not playing 40 plus matches a year, you are not ITF, ATP, or WTA. You're not going to be like them, ever. These are requirements. We're talking about 7 to 10 years here, level 7. Again, if you haven't played tennis for 6, 7 years, you're not level 7. It's not going to happen. So, we also here see 16 plus. You cannot be level 5 and be 10 years old. I don't care what little Mo tournament you won. All right, just don't even bother. So I don't care what your world junior ranking is. 16 plus, level 5. And this is going to consist of training. Now we're getting into physical training. Training. I consider training physical training in the gym. You're working in the gym. You're doing calisthenics, weight training, speed training, balance training. Specifically, we're talking about speed and strength training. That's really the most important. So again, if you want to be level 6, you must have some level of speed or strength. And you can get some of this. You can get a lot of this from this here, playing these matches against certain players. That's why this is primary. This is supplementary. Now, you could argue that it's not, that it is required. You could argue that this training is required in order to get to level 7, and I would agree with that. But I'm just saying that a lot of players can get that through playing games and matches, etc. At least at a fundamental level. So you may be wondering here, well, if I play 40 matches a year, I can be like a professional player. Yes, absolutely. If you're playing against the right players. Here we have this ITF, the idea of the future challengers and ATP level. You could say that, a lot of people say there's infinite levels in between there, etc. You could say all that. I'm going to tell you what this is. This is, can you play with these people? Absolutely. If you play for 7 years and you play 40 matches a year and you have some physical training and you're older than 16 and you play with these people on a semi-regular basis, absolutely you could play with ITF players, ATP players, WTA players. Will you win? I don't know. You could say probably not. But could you play with them? Absolutely you could play points with them. You would feel confident, in some way or another, in some form. So I just want to bring this to the attention that if I was learning tennis, this is what I would focus on first and foremost. And chances are, if you're watching this, you'll never get to anything. Do this first. You'll never get to anything beyond this. Do this before you do anything else. Before you watch that video that shows you this and shows you that, I would do this first. So I hope that helps you, and hope you enjoy this, the simplicity of it all, and hope you have a great day.